Welcome to the Interior Design Beat podcast, where you will hear candid commentary on various interior design subjects and topics, including the good, the bad, and the ugly, telling you like it really is. Welcome to the Interior Design Beat podcast. This is your host, Steve Adamco, interior designer, and I hope you enjoyed your Labor Day weekend. I enjoyed mine, and during that time, I spent a little time reading a book, Interior Design, by a couple of interior designers that appear fairly regularly in Architectural Digest, and a lot of the book I can agree with. But they have kind of their look and style and area that they operate in. Doesn't operate always in my area, that's for sure. There's nothing that is bold in terms of color and orchestration like I do. But anyway, it's all good stuff, except I ran across some stuff that I thought, I don't agree with that. I don't agree with that. That might be for them and their mindset, but it doesn't apply enough to enough interior design situations. So I thought, well, I'll bring that point up and let you know what they said, and then I'm going to give you my reply and what I think. Now, one of the things they talked about was upholstery. And there's some comments here that I definitely agree with and has been part and parcel of my own experience as well in what I do. And so they said, for many people, upholstered furniture is the most difficult purchase they face in furnishing a home. With a variety of styles, quality, prices, and sizes, not to mention thousands of fabric choices on the market, it's not surprising that selecting a sofa or chair can be an ordeal. The first rule to remember is that this is a major purchase. You should always buy the best upholstery you can afford. Definitely, I agree. Nowhere is that old adage, buy cheap, buy twice, more applicable. Yes, that is true. Very true. High quality pieces are expensive, but they will last a lifetime. Absolutely. They can be slip covered or reupholstered. And if they are a classic shape, you will never grow bored with them. Yes, I can attest to that because I've done it in my own interior design work for clients that they've had a sofa for like nearly 40 years and we just reupholstered it a few years ago. It's classic. It's Baker. It's solid. It fits their petite frame. So yes, it was a good investment at the beginning. It's still proving to be a good investment. And even though it was expensive at the beginning, it becomes increasingly less expensive as time goes on. All you have to do is take the cost of the sofa or the cost of the sofa and then add the reupholstering to it and divide it by the number of years in service, and you will get how much it costs per year in a sense. You'll be surprised what great quality furniture does. Man, it's just an experience. It supports you correctly, and it's beautiful to look at over and over, and my gosh, you can do so much with it and reupholster it, and it's got good bones, good frame, everything. So yes, that is far and away the best way to approach purchasing a sofa. A good sofa can always be reused, moved to a different room, or even passed on to children or friends. Cheap upholstered pieces rarely last longer than a few years and are usually not comfortable even during their brief lifetimes. Yeah, that's true. Sometimes they are, but after a while, maybe they don't last as long. So, and it depends on the usage as well. If they don't get used very often, well, then I guess they will last a little bit longer. And then they go on saying, but because upholstered pieces are expensive, people fall prey to the idea that they should be the standouts in a room. This is a major mistake. Sofas and upholstered chairs should never be the focal point of a room. Upholstered pieces should function and be comfortable above all, but visually they should recede into the background. Let's slice and dice it and break this down. You can have a sofa be a standout in a room. It depends on the overall presentation and bravado of the room. If you've got a lot of strong elements architecturally and rugs and artwork and everything, as long as you know exactly how to orchestrate it, which most people don't, then you're getting a lot of strong things orchestrated and put together. And that is definitely doable. To say that the sofa should not be a standout, it's a major mistake, is a mistake in and of itself, because a sofa could stand out due to the shape, its style, its detail, the fabric on it. But if it's among other strong pieces, you're not going to have a problem, particularly if you balance it correctly. So it depends a lot on the total room concept. What's in there, what features are strong architecturally, how to balance architectural features, the overall feeling and emotion and vitality and bravado of the room, because it can go from very soft to very loud and pungent, just like music. I mean, it can be a rock star of a room, which means it's going to be loud. So maybe they don't know how to do it, but I do. So a lot of these people that are in Architectural Digest, they kind of flow with their own little genre of design. They're not totally what I would call multifaceted designers, because they kind of flow with kind of their likes and dislikes and their style, and people get them for rooms that are kind of similar in terms of visual and emotional context. So yes, that does depend on the situation. And obviously, upholstered pieces, if at all possible, should be functional and comfortable. There's no doubt about it. But to say that they should visually recede into the background is like you're camouflaging. It's kind of like, well, okay, I kind of see the sofa, but it's kind of camouflaged and blended in with the wall. So in a lot of cases, I don't see any point in that. And it depends on the size and the shape and so many other things. You know, there could be a strong architectural room that takes some strong furniture. You can't put wussy, wimpy furniture in a room that's strong. So you've got to manipulate it and modify it and get it to say what you want it to say, to look the way you want it to look, and to feel the way you want it to feel. The other day I was talking to somebody and I said, you know, I think in interior design realm in order to feel. And a lot of people are feeling too much in order to think. Like, instead of saying it, like some of these designers, like, goodness gracious, you know, they get asked a question and then they say, well, I feel like one of these women did that. It's like, oh my gosh, give me a freaking break. You know, you're a professional supposedly, and you're just like, oh, I feel like. Well, is there anything that you know? Okay. I mean, it's all about your feeling. Well, I'm all about feeling and emotion when doing interior design. That's one of the end goals, to look the right way and to feel the right way. But I think about it. Underscore the word think. Most of these people, you don't know if they really think or not, or if they really know that they know that they know, because well, I feel like. Well, I don't know. Have you ever stepped on a plane and asked the pilot if you're going to be able to get from here to there? And he says, well, I feel like we might be able to. I feel like it. Well, you want to know that the guy knows, not that he feels like it. Do you want to go into surgery and you say, Doc, am I going to come out of this? Okay, well, I feel like it will. It's kind of like, okay, is this all feeling and emotion, or is this because you really know what you're doing? I mean, is it fake feeling? Is it positive feeling? Is it I know that I know that I know feeling? Or is it just I feel like, and I sure to heck hope that it does turn out okay? All right, this is called accuracy of communication. I'm big on that. I'm huge on that. Most people are not very accurate. When you hear them talk, it's like, okay, I guess you can do what you can do, but I guess you can't really communicate what you do. That's like saying, oh, they're good at what they do, but they're terrible at teaching what they do. They don't even know how to really accurately and precisely and full-bodiedly, majestically, robustly communicate what the heck they're going to do in the visual realm. I mean, do you find a problem with that? I sure do. And some of you people are probably working with people just like that. It's all on feeling. And maybe you hope it's going to turn out okay, but I don't ever hope about it. I know exactly how it's going to turn out. Precisely. The look, the feel, the ambiance. Bam. Okay? Accuracy. Hit the target. So many people screw it up. So many designers, they don't hit the target. It looks like the room is muddled and it mumbles. Like, what are they trying to do here? What are they trying to say? Are they trying to like Impress people? Or what are they trying to do? Win an award? I don't know. So anyway, when they say we prefer smaller scale pieces, yeah, they're easier to move around. But you can't have a wonderful room with really small pieces. The room's going to dwarf it. It's going to overpower it. I mean, look at the things. There's nothing wrong with studying history. Maybe we can't do some of the things that they did, but look at the French periods. Louis the 14th, 15th, 16th, Directoire, all these fantastic periods of French architecture and interior design. I mean, they know how to do it. I mean, those rooms are proportionally like wonderful. Look at the Greeks and stuff like that. Look at history of the best that's ever walked the planet. I mean, they're more renowned than some of the hotshot designers of today, truly. But the hotshot designers of today, the best ones, have studied all the old guys, and learned from thousands of years of people who were phenomenal, like the ones who designed the Parthenon on the Acropolis in Greece, okay? So sometimes I want to say, get a clue. So I'm so against fads and trends and all that. It's just a bunch of crap, in my opinion. A lot of people just trying to make waves for nothing, splashing around in the water and really not making a whole lot of difference, because anybody that's halfway smart knows that, well, that's obvious. Okay, that's obvious. And they also say that pieces should provide the backbone of a room, not overwhelm it. Well, the backbone of the room, in a sense, is the room. And if it doesn't have a backbone architecturally, then yes, you do add things that provide a backbone, but it's all orchestrated so that when you look at the room and walk into the room, you're not saying, oh, look at that good backbone. No, you're not even aware of it. Okay, just like when you look at a human person, you don't say, oh, look at that backbone. Great backbone. You only say they have a good backbone when they've got some oomph to them, some strength, some grit, some boldness. That's when you got backbone. All right. So anyway, sometimes they say stuff here and I'm thinking like, dang, you're in Architectural Digest and like, what are you saying? I mean, you say a lot of good things and then there's a couple things that sounds like, like you don't know what you're really talking about, or you're talking about such a defined area that you're not giving the greatest explanation and the broadest explanation so that more people can be helped. Now, I could go into this a lot deeper, but that's why I'm doing the interior design courses coming up on the platform Thinkific. Okay? That you're going to pay for, because then we're going to really get into the real nitty gritty on how to build this up and how to lay the foundation for a great room in every respect. Okay, now they talked about some rugs, and they start by saying nothing warms up a room like a beautiful rug. A rug provides a visual footprint, a guide to how to use the space within a room. I don't know, why would that be a guide? I don't know. I mean, everybody can see what a room is used for. So it's got chairs and sofas. So I don't know why it would be a guide, like a map of some sort. Anyway, that doesn't make sense to me. Rugs can draw people to a seating area, for example, or indicate a pathway to another space. So, yeah, they can draw people to a seating. They can indicate a pathway, but typically most of the time you can see the pathway yourself with or without a rug. And they say they are a means of not only adding warmth, but bringing coherence to a space to differentiate path from place. Well, again, okay, it does add warmth, but does it differentiate a path from a place? Well, maybe yes, maybe no. But that still seems a little weird to me. So they go on. It is generally best to use the simplest rug possible. If you have a gorgeous antique rug, by all means use it, but these rugs are not necessary. Well, I think in a lot of cases they are, because they add a wonderful sense of history and art and color and magnificence to a space. They say, in fact, rugs with a central medallion are the hardest to use in a room because they limit furniture placement. I've never found that to be true. Just because it has a medallion, a lot of times maybe the medallion is under a coffee table or in between two coffee tables in a large seating arrangement. but I've never found it to be a major problem with anything. Whether it's a small rug or a big one, you can take a small rug and center the medallion on the center of the sofa or the love seat or whatever, or a pair of chairs. I've never found it to be a problem. So why they say it, I don't know. And then they say these rugs, the rugs with a central medallion, were made for perfectly proportioned rooms, the kind that are common in France, for example, but that rarely exist in this country. Again, you can use them even when you don't have a perfectly proportioned room, unless, of course, you're using a huge rug, that the Oriental rug is almost wall to wall, like maybe 2 feet from the wall all the way around. That's a different thing. But even then, you can have rugs custom made in custom sizes. No problem. Okay? No problem. Then they go on to say Oriental rugs can be glorious. Yes, they can. But they can be difficult to work with since most are predominantly red and blue, and these colors don't often lend themselves to modern schemes. I beg to differ. You can still use them with modern schemes. What the heck is their problem here? It's like, get a clue, guys. Anyway, does it make sense to me? I guess they don't know how to deal with strong color. And apparently, because a lot of their stuff is not really strong color, so I guess maybe they're not able to. And then they say large-scale formal Orientals ultimately work well only with classic American or English furniture. Well, hello, guys. What about Oriental furniture? What about Oriental furniture? It's like, oh, man, give me a break. I mean, I can't understand why these people, they say a few smart things, or maybe 80% smart, and then there's 20% that's just stupid. Stupid, okay? Don't take their advice. They don't, in this case, know what they're talking about. Then they go on. In the early part of the 20th century, people choose rugs that filled the room. But today we prefer smaller rugs that reveal the wood or stone floors beneath. If you have beautiful floors, why cover them up completely? Usually the best solution is to use smaller rugs that demarcate specific seating areas or hallways while heightening awareness of the floor beneath. Again, I do not agree. It depends. Yes, their advice could work in certain situations. In others, it's like, okay, it's hardwood floor. It's made for Oriental rugs to go on to. Okay? It's still a background. That would be like saying, don't put any artwork on the walls because you don't want to cover up beautiful, wonderful paint. See? That's just makes no sense. That makes no sense. Then they go on to say, people obsess about finding the perfect rug and feel that a room can never work until the rug is in place. But in fact, we have never found a rug before creating a plan or color scheme, nor have we built a room around a rug or carpet. Many people feel that if they design a room first, they will never find a rug that goes with it. This is a groundless fear. There is an enormous array of carpets of all sizes, colorings, and patterns available today, both antique and modern, and a room's design should never be inhibited by worries about finding some elusive masterpiece of a rug. People attach far too much importance to a rug. A rug should not drive the design of a room, but serve as a backdrop. Well, some of that's true and some of it's not. I mean, I've created schemes with a rug starting out. You can create a plan, a floor plan, without finding a rug, okay? Also, it is a backdrop. Everything is a backdrop. Even if it's an Oriental, it's a backdrop for furniture on top of it. It's a backdrop for cocktail tables on top of it. Anything that's on top of it, when you're standing up and looking down on it, the rug, the Oriental rug, is a backdrop for other things, upholstery, chairs, what have you, okay? Then the walls are a backdrop for those very same things, okay? Walls and floors are backdrops, and it depends on the room and how subdued or strong they are. But nonetheless, even if it's a really strong color, it's still a backdrop. When you put furniture against the wall, artwork on the wall, it reduces the amount of square footage of the wall that you see and becomes more and more a backdrop. When somebody is painting a room with a strong color, they say, oh, this is too strong. I don't think I'm going to be able to handle it. And yet, it's just like, hold on, folks, hold on. You got to put the furniture in, the artwork up, large pieces, case pieces, bookshelves, everything against the wall, and it reduces it and it becomes more and more in sync. So don't judge it before it's done. All right? Big mistake. Remember, this is interior design in my book. It's orchestrated interior design. It's meant to move and sing like music. Okay? Very important. So, I always get a little bothered, but I guess that's why there's different people in interior design that have different viewpoints. But some of them say like, well, if you don't do it this way, you're out of luck. It's like, no, 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 and no. They're wrong. So I don't care how famous they are. A lot of them got that way because of a certain look of being outlandish in some way or form, and that gives them the cachet. Like, oh, look at how creative they are. No, a lot of it's, well, some of it, truth be known, they got in there because maybe their husband was in construction and they got their first job through that. And then since he does other jobs and other big projects, she gets those too. So it's not always because they are so phenomenal in and of themselves. They had a hand up. Trust me, they had a hand up. They had an in. It wasn't just because of their wonderful talent. Okay. So don't be over mesmerized by some of the top designers. I've heard some of them speak and it's like, gosh sakes, you are boring. You're talking about color and haven't said anything wonderful that anybody could use about color other than do this and do this, but not even indicating the why or the wherefore of why you're doing what you're doing. So, that's asinine, just plain and simple. Trust me, I've been on some webinars with some very top level designers, and what they say, it's like, oh gosh, give me a break. I feel like I'm in kindergarten. All right. I don't know why they got to be at such a level of renown around the world. I don't know. Anyway, scratch your head sometimes and wonder, how did they do that? But anyway, a lot of people get to places not by what they know, but by who they know. And if it wasn't for the who they know, they never would have got to be the one that you seem to see in every trade magazine or design magazine around the country and around the world. All right. And then they made another comment here that in general, the floor should not act as the focal point. Rather, it should be a strong yet quiet foundation for all else that happens in that space. Kind of for the most part, that's good. But there are some floors that are all inlay with wonderful woods that become a heavy hitting design element as part of the architectural presentation, which is composed of walls, floors, and ceilings. So it depends. It depends. So, if it's a space where people just congregate and, maybe benches and chairs are to the side of the wall, but it's mostly a congregational area where people are standing up and milling around and whatnot, and then moving on to other areas. Yes, it can become part of the dynamics of the architecture. Walls, floor, and ceiling operating in a very high level orchestrated format where they all have a share of the glory of the design presentation. See? Simple, isn't it? If you start thinking about it with in some cases, common sense. Some cases, you do need design knowledge to think about this because most people don't quite have it to understand it. But hang tight. In this podcast, you'll get to understand some of these things. And if you happen to sign up and pay for the courses that I'm going to give on Thinkific in the near future, you'll learn this stuff. Trust me, you'll learn it. And then you'll know it. And then you'll know why. Okay? Very, very important. All right. I guess that's kind of the end of my response, my rant, if you will, my post-Memorial Day fireworks from my side of the fence. So anyway, if anything, what I'm saying to you, I hope it stimulates you to think and think in order to feel. So the best people can do it forward and backwards. Think to feel to think. Okay? I don't know if you'll understand that. Hopefully you will. But that's what I do. I can do it forward and backwards, left and right, up and down. I can move it all around. Okay? Like a gyroscope. That's how I play. That's how I work. That's how I do interior design. It's 360. Okay. Think of it like a globe. You're walking into an environment. You're surrounded 360 in all degrees and directions. So, anyway, something to think about, something to contemplate. And you know what? One of the reasons I do this podcast is to let you know what I think and to give you the truth and then give you something that you can think on and become more enriched with the way you look at things and your knowledge so that you just don't end up doing dumb stuff that you should never be doing. So, yes, I am the expert guide. All right. So, anyway, that's it for now. And we'll be talking to you on the next podcast. And hey, you never know sometimes what I'm going to bring up for subject content. So I've got some things planned, but then sometimes something comes up and I think I'm going to hit this one. I think I'm going to address this one. This seems like the prime time to hit this one strong. All right. Okay. So anyway, hopefully you're as enthusiastic as I am. Hopefully you're as pumped up after hearing this as I am when I'm delivering it. Because I get pumped up, I get enthused, I get excited, I get animated, I get strong, I bring it, okay? You never have to ask. Again, like I said, the old lady in the old Wendy's commercial, where's the beef? It's right here. It's right here, all right? So that's why I'm not afraid to be bold and bodacious about things. Because I feel strong about this profession, and I feel strong about doing it with excellence and doing it the right way once and be done with it. For whatever situation is called for. I always work around the client. The client is the pivot point for everything. And then I step in, put myself in their shoes, and do it with my expertise, almost as if they were me. But you know what? They'll never be me because they can't see it and do it and perform it like I do. Never met anybody that could. Okay. That's why I love being unique. And that's why I love teaching and training and helping people to understand what this is all about. And that's why I use analogies and those kinds of things to help you to understand what it's all about. Okay. Well, thanks a bunch. Should I say thanks? I don't know. Maybe you should be thanking me. But anyway, I'm glad you listened in today, and we'll talk to you next time. All right. Have a great day.